Tonight, a report on why REC Silicon could be forced to shut down its Moses Lake plant, and Ephrata plans to hire more police officers. What's happening in sports, Bob?
Moses Lake and Eastmont battle it out on the pitch at Lions Field, and the season wraps up at Ephrata Raceway Park. Let's take a quick glance at our Weather Center forecast.
I'm Tasselyn Rodriguez. Dry conditions and mostly clear skies along much of the region. However, a cold front approaching the area. How will that impact our immediate area? I'll have more details for you.
I'm Amber Jenks, and we have all this and much more on iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News. Your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
A continued trade dispute with China could lead REC Silicon to shut down the Moses Lake plant. The company made the announcement as Chinese officials stalled in accepting an agreement. If they had accepted it, the deal would provide Chinese solar panel companies access to the U.S. and end a 57% tax on polysilicon sales to China. REC Silicon Vice President Francine Sullivan said company officials are hoping to avoid laying off 400 of the 720 employees working at the Moses Lake plant. But without a resolution, the company cannot afford to operate a business without a place to sell its products. The company has not made a final decision, according to Sullivan. The Associated Press reported in 2013 the company sold roughly 80% of the polysilicon it produces to customers in China. The Chinese government imposed duties in June of 2013 in response to the American tariffs imposed last year on imported solar panels. A proposal to limit yard sales in Moses Lake was not voted on Tuesday night by the City Council due to concerns with the ordinance. Reporter Cameron Probert has the story.
Moses Lake residents can still have as many yard sales as they want. The City Council decided not to take any action on a proposed ordinance aimed at limiting the amount of yard sales to 3 per year. The proposal limited sales to 1 day, and each sale needed to be at least 30 days apart. City officials proposed requiring people to get a permit and stated items needed to be of a type and quantity usually found within a residential setting. If people didn't follow the rules, they faced a $300 fine for each offense after the first one. 2 Moses Lake residents raised concerns about the proposal, stating it didn't include provisions for estate sales or yard sales put on by churches or neighborhoods. The majority of the council members supported the idea of preventing people from running a retail store from their homes, but did not think that the ordinance accomplished the goal. For iFIBER 1 News, this is Cameron Probert reporting.
A malfunction in Soap Lake's water system is costing the city $45,000 to fix. The City Council voted 4-2 to declare an emergency and hire McKinstry to fix the electronic controls for the water system. The city is paying the energy consulting firm to make the repairs. Mayor Raymond Gravel said the water system's telemetry system was not working, meaning the 2 tanks aren't connected electronically to the pumps to keep the tanks full. Until the problem is fixed, a city worker needs to look into the tanks to check the water level. If the level falls too low, the city could run out of water in the event of a fire. Council members John Glasgow and Robert Brown questioned why the matter was not brought to the council's attention sooner for discussion. They asked for more information from the Public Works Department in the future. A Moses Lake man was seriously injured in a crash. Nicholas Obershaw, a 20-year-old man, was driving a 1991 Honda Accord south on Stratford Road Northeast on Monday morning when he allegedly drove off the road to the right and struck a power pole. According to the Grant County Sheriff's Office on Tuesday, Obershaw was trapped in the car and found by a passing driver. The driver provided first aid until emergency responders arrived. His injuries were not considered life-threatening, but he was flown to Confluence Health Central Washington Hospital in Wenatchee. According to the Sheriff's Office, Obershaw's alleged inattention caused the crash. Now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We'll be back right after this.
My name is Kat Sanderson, Managing Broker for Pillar Rock Realty Group. We love the Columbia Basin because it's our home, and we want to give back to our community by kicking off our Pay It Forward campaign. If you buy or list with us, we will donate 1% of our total proceeds to a local charity of your choice and in your name. Call us today at 754-4444 or visit pillarrockrealty.com because we are your local real estate experts.
Hi everyone, I'm Chaselyn Rodriguez bringing you your local weather. This weather segment is brought to you by Barry Motors, one great place to buy and service a car. Dry and mild conditions remain in control. For today, we had a wonderful first day of fall around our air with temperatures above the normal for this time of year. On Thursday, should be the warmest around that 80-degree mark, and then coming through for the weekend, we'll get more average temperatures. Now, there is a weak system approaching the area by Thursday into Thursday night towards the coastal area, bringing that threat of showers with that slight chance of thunderstorms, but it'll remain towards the northwest of our state and then heading towards the panhandle. Let's take a look at the almanac within the past 24 hours. We started off the morning in the lower 40s, temperatures below the normal for this time of year. However, those maximum temperatures slightly above the normal, around 77 degrees, and that record high of 92 degrees in 1987, sun setting at 6:54 p.m. And right now, for Moses Lake, we started off those temperatures in the mid-30s. Pretty cold out there this morning, but temperatures below the normal, and that maximum temperature very close to the normal for this time of year in the mid-70s. Sun setting at 6:53 p.m. And right now outside your door, clear skies, temperatures in the lower 70s. A pretty nice evening out there with those winds pushing through from the south up to 9 miles per hour. Dry conditions as well as mostly clear skies remain in control. However, this system approaching the area, bringing lots of cloud cover towards the coastal area, and then coming through by Thursday night, it should approach the coastal area, the northwest of our state, shifting towards the east, not impacting our area, but bringing some cloud cover and a decrease in temperatures for the weekend. Let's take a look at the coastal area. Those temperatures in the lower 60s towards Vancouver, that threat of showers. Seattle in the mid-70s. The Yakima Valley temperatures in the lower 80s with mostly sunny skies. Towards the inland northwest, those temperatures in the upper 70s, almost hitting that 80-degree mark. Let's take a closer look at our Columbia Basin. Those temperatures ranging from the upper 70s to lower 80s, temperatures above the normal for this time of year. Moses Lake in the lower 80s, as well as towards Ephrata and towards Bridgeport in the lower 80s. Royal City as well in the lower 80s. Let's take a look at the extended forecast for the week. Warmest day of the week tomorrow, Thursday, temperatures in the lower 80s, and coming through on Friday, we're expecting temperatures in the mid-70s and more seasonable temperatures coming through our way by this weekend. We're expecting temperatures in the lower 70s for Saturday as well as for Sunday, and then an increase in temperatures by the beginning of the work week with lots of sunshine coming through our way. We'll be right back with sports.
Paying your Grant PUD bill with ePay is like getting free cuts in line. You pay when you want, how you want. Get free cuts in line with Grant PUD ePay. Visit grantpud.org.
Oh, dude, I'm just in the theater. It's totally cool.
Ah.
The Chiefs and Wildcats mixed it up in Big Nine soccer action last night at Lions Field. Reporter Sean Wells has the story.
It was a Big Nine Conference home match for the Moses Lake Chiefs hosting Eastmont. The Chiefs were looking to stay atop the table in the Big Nine Conference with a victory. The match started off physical as both teams battled for possession. Maddie Krogh broke the scoreless tie for the Chiefs in the first half with an assist from Abby Rathman. Eastmont fought back in the second half to level the match at 1-1. As time wore on, the Chiefs continued to attack. Ellie Mayo gave the Chiefs the lead with a nice run up from the defensive position, placing the ball in the back of the net. The Chiefs would hold on to take the match 2-1 and move to 3-0 in league play. Moses Lake head coach Rick Charr was proud of his girls' effort.
Yeah, you know, that's Chief soccer. I mean, we gotta make up for the lack of experience we have. I mean, we have 14 girls that are freshmen and sophomores on varsity. So how do we make up for lack of size and speed and experience? We just gotta play tough soccer and can't give up.
For iFIBER 1 News, Sean Wells.
In other Basin soccer action, it was Ellensburg holding off Ephrata 1-0. Grandview rolled past Quincy 9-1. East Valley got past Othello 2-1. And Warden and Kiona Benton battled it out to a 3-3 tie. Well, the season came to an end with the championships wrapping up the action at Ephrata Raceway Park. Brothers Rick and Steve Thompson from Prosser battled it out in the Northwest Pro 4 competition, and it was Steve taking the checkers. But Rick's second place finish earned him the title and the family bragging rights. The Jerry's Auto Supply Street Stock saw pole sitter Brad Morrison from Moses Lake take command of the main event early and cruise to victory. The win garnered Morrison enough points to claim the championship. John Haygood of Ephrata held off Sid White out of Royal City in the A division of the Schaefer Oil Mini Stock main event. The B division main event victory went to Ephrata's Brad Arneson. And finally, it was a photo finish in the Pioneer Muffler 2 V6 Supercar competition. Kyle Lahr of Ephrata and Dan Voss of Moses Lake came out of turn 4 side by side. The drivers engaged in a little door banging and crossed the line together. But the electronic scoring had Lahr finishing first. Robinson Cano blasted 2 of the Mariners' 5 home runs, and the M's blew out the Royals 11-2 in Kansas City. Cano hit a solo shot in the first and then launched a 449-foot 3-run dinger in the third off Jeremy Guthrie. Seattle blew open a 2-0 ball game with 7 runs in the inning. Kyle Seager, Brad Miller, and Jesus Montero accounted for the other 3 round trippers. The Mariners, believe it or not, have the most extra base hits in the American League since the All-Star break. Hisashi Iwakuma turned in another solid outing on the bump, going 7 innings, giving up 3 hits and no runs. Kuma is 7-2 with a 2.66 ERA over his last 10 outings. We'll be back after this commercial break.
You don't have to drive to Seattle for exceptional cancer care. Confluence Health's cancer program delivers world-class care close to home. We have a highly experienced oncology team in a state-of-the-art facility, and we're a member of the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, which gives our patients access to world-renowned therapies developed at Fred Hutchinson, the University of Washington Medicine, and Seattle Children's. Together with the SCCA, we're delivering world-class cancer care close to home.
Our spotlight story tonight is about longtime Moses Lake resident Harold Hochstetter, who shares his knowledge of the history of Moses Lake. Reporter Jeff Chu has the story.
Harold Hochstetter knows exactly where he was born in 1937. No, Hochstetter wasn't born in Broadway Bar and Grill downtown. That building was later constructed where his parents' home once stood overlooking the lake. It's a point the former state representative and senator makes when he talks about the history of Nepel, the little village that later became Moses Lake.
There was 300 people here, and there was no doctor. And so my mom calls the doctor who is in Risville, Doc Sweet from Risville, and says, a baby's coming. So he grabbed his black bag and ran down to the tavern to prepare himself for a night's work. I came here and he never.
Hochstetter fondly recalls his days as a boy growing up in Nepel in the 1940s.
I used to go to Danny's Tavern, which was the pool hall, and buy Tootsie Rolls that big for a penny piece. Buy a bottle of Hires root beer that was probably a pint for 5 cents and get 2 cents back on a bottle. And so, but it was, the town when it was platted had board sidewalks. and there was no herd laws, so the cows and the horses destroyed the sidewalks. It was said that the guy who platted it did the narrow sidewalks. So, but when that was all gone, but hey, bare feet, stubbed toes, riding a bicycle with one pant leg rope, but you go every place.
Hochstetter says he celebrates the old days in Moses Lake with a collection of old photos handed down to him by family and friends over the decades. He talked about the earliest history of Nepal, the village that encompassed much of what today is downtown Moses Lake.
So they sold an auction, they sold the lots off. But the morning of the auction, the whole town they put signs on every light pole, both of them, that says you can buy the lots, but you can't buy the water. And Ham, Ryrie, and Yearsley had a water right on this lake. And that was the longest duration lawsuit in the history of Washington State.
The lake was raised 10 feet during Hochstetter's lifetime, which changed it dramatically.
This was surveyed in 1910 and published in 1912. But this is the official geological survey map from the United States government. But you can see how very different it is. And this part of the lake is just tules. And now that's lake.
Hochstetter wants to share his knowledge of Moses Lake history. He has an extensive historic photo collection that goes along with his presentation. Footage of this story was provided by Hochstetter from his presentation called Sex, Lies, and Danny's Tavern. Hochstetter can be reached at 509-765-8164. I'm Jeff Chu for iFIBER 1 News.
We'll be right back after this.
Quincy Foods, LLC, a subsidiary of Norpac Foods, is seeking motivated individuals to fill the positions of general laborer for their corn harvest season. They have full-time seasonal openings, must be 18 years old and older, willing to work swing shift. Great people to work for in a challenging food processing environment. Apply at 222 Columbia Way in Quincy between 8 and 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, or online through WorkSource. Quincy Foods is an equal opportunity employer.
Welcome back. Ephrata Police added the first of 2 new police officers. The city is in the process of hiring officers after voters approved a 0.1% sales tax increase in 2014. The increase allowed the department to promote existing officers to the position of captain and assign one to the interagency narcotics enforcement team. To replace the officers, the city is hiring 2 new officers. Jose Ramirez was the first of the officers hired. Police Chief Mike Warren said Ramirez is the first officer hired in the city during the past 5 years. Ramirez was born and raised in Moses Lake and graduated Moses Lake High School in 2005. He graduated from Eastern Washington University with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice in 2013. History buffs and families have the chance to learn more about Grant County at the annual Pioneer Day on Saturday at the Grant County Museum. Reporter Devin Higgins has the details.
The Grant County Museum wraps up its 2015 season with its annual Pioneer Day celebration on Saturday. Grant County Historical Society member Pat Witham talks about what's in store.
This Saturday, the 26th, from 10 to 4, the museum will have its annual Pioneer Day. And there'll be people in every building. Grant County Sheriff's Posse will be here, and they will do their bank robbery and also their street shootout and the horse races for the kids. Now, it's the stick horse races, but they do get trophies. They're broken up into age groups. And it's quite exciting to see little 4-year-olds walk off with a trophy. And the American Legion, Post 28 here in Ephrata, will be barbecuing. It's a great deal. We do this once a year. And possibly you can come in and learn something about the history of Grant County and protect your heritage at the same time.
In Ephrata, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
Big Bend Community College is combining 3 older events into one. The first Get Here Fair is scheduled for September 30th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Mastro Conference Center in the Advanced Technology Education Center building. HERE stands for Higher Education Resources and Employment and is a combined college fair, fall hiring event, and a guide to local resources for students and families. Attendees can meet with representatives of the region's colleges and universities during the fall transfer fair. Sponsored by the Washington Council for High School and College Relations. Big Bend's professional and technical programs are having an open house, and campus tours and workshops are available. The fall hiring event features local employers who are currently looking to fill positions, and both internship and apprenticeship information will be made available as well. In Northwest News, teachers in Kelso, Washington have spent nearly a week on the picket lines instead of in the classroom. They recently voted to continue the strike in spite of a court order. For CNN, Laura Rios has the story.
This is the fourth school day Kelso teachers spent on the picket lines instead of in the classroom. They voted last night to continue striking.
You could just feel it in the air that people were just fired up and feeling very strong and supported by the community. And then when we took that vote and found out the results, it was 221 to 20.
A Cowlitz County judge ruled the strike is illegal and violates students' rights to an education. Teachers could face sanctions for defying the order to return to school tomorrow, but the judge didn't specify what those would be.
We've been told possible things that could happen, but we're just going to wait and see what the judge does and, you know, his decision, and then we'll make a decision from there.
The nearly 300 teachers in Kelso have worked without a contract since June. One big sticking point in negotiations is pay. These teachers haven't gotten a raise in 6 years, and they say this strike is the last resort. Many students and parents have joined them on the picket lines, but as the strike drags on, some frustration is growing.
It's a lot. It's an emotional thing that's happening for everybody, but I stand by my teachers 110%. These are teachers that have given and given and given and given of themselves.
I think that teachers are great and that they deserve more money. I want my kids to get their education that our taxpayer dollars are paying for. And next week I start school down at PSU. How am I supposed to go to school? And in this community, there's a lot of people that have jobs and they can't afford to put their children into childcare.
Community members hope an agreement is reached soon for the sake of students and teachers.
That's going to do it for us here at iFIBER 1 News. We want to thank you for watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow.